minutes here, the next team will start coming in, and you'll hear some amazing pitches as well.
Well, it will be
I'm
under a
curious.
different link. Ron, maybe you could share that link with Amir.
Sure.
Yeah, Amir, thank you from my side as well. Thank you for putting all of your heart into your project. That's what it takes to find great success, and you're a fantastic example of that. We really appreciate it. And yeah, please join us to the next link to the pitches, and we're excited to hear from everybody. And that's the timer, the strict timer that we will hear a lot in the next pitches. Thank you
you.
all. Bye-bye.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for having me. I felt very welcomed here. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Amir.
Thank you so much, Amir.
Thank you very much.
So it's another link for this?
Looks like we're on the same link.
I know, it puts us back here. It had a different number, Ron, but it puts us back in the same room.
Yeah. Good morning, Alina.
Guys.
Good morning.
Hey, Amir, I think it's the same link.
Yeah, the link is the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect.
Yeah, maybe it's just more public link and the other one's private.
Wonderful. Then we can give it another minute. As stated before, we are on a very strict schedule. So we will have to run an alarm after 2 minutes. Everybody has 2 minutes. Then the 3 judges will share their feedback for 1 minute. And that way we will be able to hear everybody's pitches.
Victor, the pitch is 1 minute?
The pitch is 2 minutes per person,
Okay.
per founding team, and then 1 minute of feedback from the judges. And I see that Alina is here. Hi, Alina. One of our judges.
Hello. Just a note, I have a hard stop at the end of the hour. I have another call, so I hope other judges can fill us in.
That sounds good. Thank you. Hi, Shane. Welcome. Shane, one of our judges.
Hey, Victor, everybody. Pleasure to be here. I see some familiar faces in Alina anyway. So,
Hi,
great.
nice to see you.
And Stephen, welcome. Thank you for coming in, our third judge.
And Shane, you may have been involved with Cohort 6, and so I was in Cohort 6, so nice to see you again.
All right, full circle.
Yeah.
Very good. It's 8:01 in California. We will get started now. Again, every founder has 2 minutes to pitch. I will ring an alarm once that time is up, and we will have to cut the founder off or the team just for the sake of time. And then the judges will kindly give 1 minute of feedback. We will take feedback from all 3 judges for 1 minute, and then on to the next team. So Vinod, if you could move to the next slide. Oh, one more note. We prepared a pitch deck with all slides, so you can just ask Vinod to move on to the next slide whenever ready. So all is health, please go ahead.
Right. Next slide, please. All right. Mental health struggles cost the global workforce over $1 trillion in lost productivity. And yet we're still treating it with journaling apps and meditation reminders. It's not working. Next slide. Meet Alex. She's a corporate wellness manager focused on retention, morale, and well-being. But 70% of her team reports job-related stress or anxiety, and the tools she tried just aren't cutting it. She needs results. Next slide. That's where Olus comes in. We tap into the wearables that employees already use to deliver personal mental fitness plans, real-time coaching, and the structure of a personal trainer for the mind. Next slide. This isn't just another wellness app. Olus is different. We translate biometric signals into deeply personal insights and coach users through them. Next slide. Olus helps people build emotional balance and resilience by being simple, secure, and user-controlled. Next slide. And the time is now. Over 10 billion VC funding has flowed into mental health since 2021, and the market is projected to double in the next few years. Capturing just 5% of the corporate wellness market could mean 270 million in ARR for Olus. Next slide. Our initial market is going to be corporate wellness programs. Our fastest path to market is through pilot programs and broker partnerships, where we will drive outcomes that lift retention and support wellness goals. All of that for just $5 per employee per month. Next slide. We're a team of product builders, marketers, clinicians, and technologists who have launched, exited, and advised. And now we're building something that scales impact. Next slide. Just as wearables have changed how we track steps, Olus will change how we view mental resilience. We believe mental fitness should be as routine as physical fitness, personalized, measurable, and stigma-free.
Thank you,
We're
Chris.
Olus Health, and we're
We'll have to
building the
stop you
future of
here,
mental
sir.
wellness.
Judges, if you could share your feedback, please, for 1 minute. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Shane, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll just step in here. I haven't judged in a while, so rusty. This is as much an opportunity for me as it is for all of you. My first inclination is like, is this, I wear the Whoop. What could really be any better? Granted, the insights extracted, the communication is lacking, like the coaching element on their device. And you've got a different business model that you're targeting employers. I like how the maths. I didn't catch this team slide. I wish I would have. I imagine there's hardware involved, and therefore that you'll need some access to distribution and manufacturing. So it would be wonderful to understand that element as well.
Yeah, just to add there, here I just jump in. Good presentation, nice flow. You touched on a lot of points that you're supposed to. So that was good to hear. Question about $5 per employee per month. I don't know if you're lowballing yourself just to compare yourself to other wellness programs in the corporate setting, because you don't want to sell for you don't want to undersell yourself. Let's just put it this way. If you're really delivering the value, and the next point is to show that ROI, right? When you're working with businesses. Compared to other programs that they do, how do you fit what it would take for you to basically join and work with corporate, since you're B2B, and just explore a little bit. I know you don't have a lot of time, a little bit of corporate program, how is it going to work? What do they need to do? And essentially where you are right now. Like, do you have an app? What stage of development you are, and what's next for you? What do you need essentially? But thank you. Great presentation.
Steve,
Hello,
we'll
thank you.
extend it a little for you, sir.
Yes, great presentation, very clean. I like the colors and contrasts, and it's very easy to read through as you're describing your product and service. A couple things. When you're looking at user persona, corporate environment, you've got people in different scenarios. You've got young sort of entry-level staff to mid-level to senior. There might be some differentiation, segmentation in those different segments. I think that it might be worth it just trying to understand a little bit more what those might be, what those customer segments are. I would also say that I think it was already mentioned by our prior judges. How do you maybe make a better connection between the hardware and the software and the improvements? If you haven't tested any of the improvements, it'd be nice to see if you could prototype those reasonably soon, even if it's not with the fully developed hardware. And again, the $5 a month kind of stood out to me at this point, just because we didn't see any, and this pitch isn't really for the financial model, but just like to see how you came to that number. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Vinod, could you move us to the next slide, please? Thrive, please. Go ahead.
Thank you. Few people realize how dangerous eating disorders are. I certainly didn't when our son Matt developed anorexia 7 years ago. Next slide, please. Over 4 years, Matt completely stopped eating, almost completely stopped eating. The big issue for us was that, as this sort of cartoon here shows, his doctor didn't really share our concerns, and it actually took us 4 years to get him diagnosed, at which point he was extremely ill and was admitted to hospital, where he stayed for several months. And yeah, several months and $200,000 later, he was able to come home. Slide. Happily, he's doing very well today. Next slide, please. But many people aren't as lucky. Anorexia is more deadly than any other mental illness. Kills around 10,000 people a year just in the US. And underdiagnosis is still a massive issue. Slide. So the Thrive platform fixes this problem. It's health tech for early detection and intervention. Studies show that earlier intervention improves outcomes dramatically, saves hundreds of thousands of dollars per patient, and improved detection for just 10% of patients would save 1,000 lives a year in the US. Next slide, please. We automatically detect and flag likely cases from existing data. And suggest appropriate referrals for the frontline doctors. Next slide. So the doctors don't need to change their workflow or collect additional data. This gives them rapid ROI via additional billing codes and referrals. And another benefit is it screens all patients, removing bias around race, age, and gender, which is another big problem with these diseases. Next slide. This is the final slide. It talks about the TAM for the first phase is about 220 million. But as you can see through our roadmap here, there's a massive opportunity to expand phase by phase.
Andy, thank you so much.
Eating disorders, $34 billion.
Thank you, Andy. Judges, if you could please share your feedback within 1 minute, if you could.
Popping in very briefly here. I don't intimately understand the healthcare arena, but what I will say is clearly, and maybe you've got to tailor this pitch to different audiences, or given it's only 60 seconds, it took a while to spit out. Like, we didn't get to the product at all, unfortunately. And there was too much upfront on the personal element, which is touching. But yeah, and there was no team slide either, which is mission critical for like a pre-seed super early stage company. Yeah, but I encourage.
Yep, thanks.
Just jumping in. Thank you, Andy, for the presentation. It's a nice problem overview, where you're coming from, why you do what you do. If you're early stage, if you're still working on the prototype, it would be really good to know, see where you at, right? So we're in a validation state, we're in the MVP state, where you're in development. Maybe you're already talking or talk to the doctors, which is great, because ultimately, if you're selling it to the doctors, then on top of the problem for patients, we need to show why and how, what they're going to do in the doctor's office and how you're going to get through the challenge of working with doctors and clinics, and later on your go-to-market strategy and so forth. But you correctly underscored the problem and the weight of the problem. It's more implementation, the solution that needs to be highlighted and say, well, how are you going to do that, right? So, and sometimes based on the audience, like Shane said, audience maybe needs to be educated a little bit about the problem, but sometimes it's like, okay, we get the problem, let's talk about how you do it and what do you need to do what you want to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Great presentation. Overall, good entry. We understood very clearly the why. The who is not entirely clear in terms of, are there segments of the market that you're targeting, because the data might indicate that if you early detection, does that mean early in the disease, or does that mean early in the age of the audience? Something to consider. The other thing is, if you have data to analyze that tells you what early intervention, because you did mention fixes the problem, I think that's a very strong, it's a bold statement. And I think you want to back it up with at least some empirical data that you're going to try to prove through your prototype. Then this chart here in front of us, we can't quite read the numbers. You do want to think about the contrast of colors and how you're showing things, so that folks that are reading this quickly and listening to you can actually see the numbers a little bit better. My eyes aren't that great either, so that's my caveat. But same thing with what others have said in terms of what stage are you in? Do you kind of have a general notional timeline of how long this will take you? I won't say anything about the financial pieces. That's not what we're here for right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Vinod, next startup, please. Frameshift AI, the stage is yours.
Welcome to Frameshift AI. We are building breakthrough solutions
If you
at
could pause
scale.
it for 1 second and rewind.
FAI
had to travel very urgently due to a relative not doing well, so this will be the only video that we will be playing. Vinod, go ahead, please.
Welcome to Frameshift AI. We are building breakthrough solutions at scale. If AI is the new electricity, what should we power with it? In my mind, having worked in innovation for the last 15 years, innovation. Why? Well, what holds back innovation? It is really us humans. We use siloed thinking, are rigid and ineffective, miss global trends, make poor decision-making, gut feeling, and so on. So what's the impact of this? Impact on corporations, lots of missed opportunities. Reports say 70% missed opportunities, putting focus on the wrong area, building products no one needs. And as a result, they lose competitive advantage and are risk at business failure. So what can we do about it? Let's build an AI-enabled co-inventor. This will use global knowledge from all disciplines, find hidden non-obvious solutions, create new solutions for your company. So meaning shortening time to market, gain competitive advantage, and use a data-driven approach. The market opportunity here is there's a demand for innovation as this is unfulfilled and is growing. So $2.3 trillion are spent annually on innovation, 1.4 billion in innovation software. Based on data, 94% of all leaders worldwide and large corporations demand stronger, faster innovation processes. So there's a new need for a tool to do this. That is our tool. So what is it? Think of it as a product. Our product is as event server innovation, a human-centric and AI-powered innovation platform, a single place where all your insights and thoughts are entered. There's a human-in-the-loop process to it, structured innovation flow, data-driven, industry-specific, and generates tangible output for you, your team, and your company. My name is Harald Noon. I'm co-founder, 15 years in innovation, deep tech to market, teaching design thinking at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. Have been a postdoc at BioX. Right now, I'm looking for CTO, CPO, and CDO as well. Thank you for your time.
Judges, if you could share your feedback, we will take notes on your feedback, and this will also be recorded, and we will be sharing it with Harald.
Okay, I'll quickly step in. I like the fact that it's leveraging AI very heavily because it is all the rage after all. That helps with your evaluation and your ability to fundraise altogether. It is also nice that he slipped in at the end that he's looking for, I forget, a CTO and CPO, shows that he's doing something with his money. He did highlight the product, which is unique thus far compared to the other two. And it was relatively easy to grasp. It's also something I haven't heard, having a co-inventor. I've heard of co-pilot, sometimes more on the coding side. One criticism would be, and he did also leverage the Stanford logo, might as well, right? It did sound, however, a bit consultancy-y, like very generally missing out on innovation and like, I don't know, missed competitive advantage, missed opportunities. Okay, I want something more concrete. What exactly? What problem does it distinctly solve? But altogether, I like.
Steve, Alina?
So,
Yeah, go
sure.
ahead.
Okay. Yes. Generally good presentation. A little bit fast for my take, given the information. What I would say is that I think that the presentation does cover a broad problem and a very broad solution within ML and the different models that are being used to generate some of the unseen solutions and data and insights. There's a lot of off ramps to this, so I think you have to be more specific. I'm sure that they have something more specific in mind. I just think that it has to be in the presentation, just to say that ML will solve, some large language model or some other ML solution will take unstructured data and pull it in and do this and do that. It has to be a bit more specific as to what their target is. Other than that, I think it was good. I think they're putting it together. As Shane said, they're trying to establish the team and probably get their running speed and momentum. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Just to add, a bit general, good time and space to go into AI, although there's a lot of noise right now. So if you're going in and saying we're going to be a product, a platform, AI innovation platform, then how are you going to distinguish yourself and what is going to be your advantage? Because I can think of probably 8 or 9 different companies that doing similar things, some ways. So differentiation is very important. How are you doing it? Is it on a data side? Is it on a security side? Is it on a user side? And formulating your vision from the roadmap. Okay, where you are right now, who's going to be your first initial customer within the industry segment, because it could be broad spectrum. If you're working with the healthcare, different subset of issues versus if you work with the infrastructure or other type of industries. So it needs to be a little bit more tidying up with your scope, strategy, and positioning, I would say. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Vina, next startup, please. Rooted AI, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Aisha.
And I'm Arjun.
We're the team behind Rooted.ai, a platform that transforms ancient healing wisdom into personalized AI-powered wellness guidance. But why is this needed now? Next slide, please.
Currently, when people feel a tickle in their throat, they'll search for a reliable natural remedy and drown in noise. Through our research, we uncovered 3 main pain points: a trust deficit, information asymmetry, and a huge lack of personalization. As interest in natural care skyrockets, so does frustration with these challenges. So, what's the path to a better solution? Next slide, please.
Well, we envision a world where everyone, regardless of background, enjoys proactive AI-driven wellness that's rooted in your culture and validated by peer-reviewed research. But to build the right solution, we had to first understand our target audience. Next slide, please.
We interviewed over 40 users and found that 80% aged between 25 and 45 already buy supplements, around 60% find discovery painful, and virtually everyone requires evidence before acting. Next slide, please.
This led us to Parker, a globe-trotting professional who values proven natural solutions and represents $300 billion self-care market. He's seeking a single credible guide. So how will we serve Parker and others like them? Next slide.
In the next 90 days, we'll launch our MVP, expand our remedy library, and engage early users.
Remember, new luxury is wisdom, performance, and presence. So join us in turning ancient wisdom into everyday action. Thank you.
Thank you, Rooted AI team. If we could get the judges' feedback, please.
Maybe somebody else wanted. Yeah,
I can get started. Thank you for the presentation. Nice flow, tempo, overview information. It's nice to see where you are to where you're trying to do. Good presentation with the tag team presenting side by side. So a little bit on the pain point and specifically, like if there's any culturally or even any demographic markets that you are focusing on initially, perhaps where there's more money, like people not just age 25 to 40, but if there are any psychographic, behavioral, demographic, any other type of characteristics that are important for you, good indicators for the market and behavior. And then a little bit, maybe it's too early on how you're going to do that, but at least the glimpses of what's exactly the secret sauce that you're trying to do. But overall, great presentation. And I'll let some more time for Stephen and Shane to jump in. Thank you.
Stephen,
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Great presentation. I understand the concern because I spent a lot of time looking for the better supplements and some of the natural wellness solutions, and there's a lot of bad information. So I do understand the trust deficit and the asymmetry. I do think that there was a cultural piece that was inserted there, and I think that there's probably a reason in terms of ancient medicine coming from different parts of the world that might be part of this equation. If so, you didn't really discuss too much of that. Maybe that's the wisdom component, but I'd like to see how you're bringing that into the equation, because that would be a differentiating factor compared to a lot of what today is non-pharmaceutical at least in the United States, non-reviewed by Food and Drug Administration products that are out there, and you never know which one's better, which one's best or good. So there's maybe a little bit of work to show us who your 25 to 45 is, if that's in fact your target market. I would say it could be broader, but maybe a little bit more focused in the certain specific areas of wellness treatment or self-treatment. And I think that the timeline may be a bit ambitious, but that's just my initial thought. Thank you.
So I'm partial to bringing back ancient practices in the sense that I recently began fasting and have lost like 20 some odd pounds and feel much more energetic. Others notice it as well. So there's something to it. And it's exciting to imagine it be like, imagine technology harnessing that underlying power. As far as your business, in the most direct sense, please be direct, be upfront, start with the end in mind. Don't be afraid. And I guess this is less of a critique of your pitch itself or the deck or the business, but just I encourage you at this maybe very early juncture to get out there and get the shots on goal and collect lots of like live feedback in order to get a much more powerful sense of how to shape your business.
Thank you, judges. Vinod, next startup, please. Ballsy, please. Team, are you there? Woolsey team? Then let us move on to the next startup, please. Digital Locker, please.
Hey, folks, good morning. Anu Ramraj, recognized as a global top 25 digital transformation leader. I'm grateful I've had the privilege of working with C-level execs and state leadership to advise them. And today I'm here to present DigiLocker, which is based on a problem that was brought to us by state leadership. Next slide, please. So take the case of Jordan. He's one of the 50,000 foster kids in California who cannot enroll for school, get benefits because his vital documents, think immigration paperwork, think birth certificates, think education records, medical immunization records are lost, right? Because these kids move from foster home to foster home. Same problem with the fires, same problem with aging population. Next slide, please. Our solution is DigiLocker, an AI and blockchain-based platform where you can store your most vital records. They're secured by blockchain. And then the most critical part is AI agentic workflows, which allow you to validate those documents, which allow you to then seamlessly fill in other applications. Next slide. The results are going to be tremendous. Jordan, of course, gets into his dream college, gets his scholarship. But there's also the trust element, which is the most important angle of this that I want to stress, right? Blockchain-enabled, notarized documents. Next slide. Yes, others have done it, but they've only done portions of the puzzle, which is where our moat is. And we've seen this being successful in other countries. But again, those are country-specific solutions, right? So we will bring this to California first and then all over the US. Next. The TAM is huge. We have a soft commitment from the Treasurer's Office to roll this out to 50,000 foster kids. We'll be scaling across the US, working with retirees. Just the retirees is another million plus retirees supported by CalPERS. We will easily hit with $10 a month, 100 million in ARR. Next slide. We're seeking $1 million in seed funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu. Judges, if we could get your feedback.
Sure, I can get first. Well, thank you for the presentation. It's kind of a clear problem, but you position it from different perspective. I think you can first broaden it and then go specifically where you're going to start with a little more. I work with, a lot of European countries already using the systems like Estonia, Ukraine. Ukraine is a good use case example because they have a war, so all of their documents are digital. You can do pretty much everything on your phone, all the mortgages, all the documents, ID, everything, and communicating with the state and governments. So there's an opportunity there. This key's going to be on how and who, right? How you're going to do it, who's going to do it. And there are challenges, of course, when you're working and dealing with public records, government organizations, and different entities. So I think that needs to be a little bit uncovered of how are you going to do that, especially since you mentioned you already have some kind of letter of intent or soft commitments. Great. Well, tell us, what are you planning to do? Like what's gonna happen? Where are you gonna start? And then how are you gonna expand it to actually be one of that one big digital solution? But overall, it's a great idea. I have challenges of executing. So please take your time, and maybe 1 million is not enough for the seed money. I'm guessing, but it seems like there's a lot more work to get through this. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent presentation. Having worked a lot with records management tangentially in NARA and things like this, whenever you look at this type of system, it's complex, and digital signature, security, and accessibility of data information, who has access besides the primary. So there are some, and I think Alina, she mentioned how other countries are doing this. If you can learn from others and not reinvent the wheel on this one, this is one of those hills that any thousands of organizations have really perished on from different points of view. So it's a very ambitious project, and I would probably say start with one target market if that's the foster kids and homeless. Start there, sort of perfect the concept and model, and then move to the others. I wouldn't necessarily venture through two or expect the money to come in for more than one focus. But I think that putting together a good, robust financial model eventually, if you don't have it, I know you have some numbers here, but I also would like to know some of the commitments that you have from state government. What are they providing you in terms of funding? Do you need the funding now, or are you building prototype and then to scale once you have better knowledge of what you can do and how you can do it and when you can deploy different functionalities and services within the state of California? It would be good to know where you're at this point and how much experience you have in that. Thank you.
Seems to me, if I make comments from afar, that Steve is genuinely interested in learning more. It's just a wild guess, but Amraj, it's great how you sounded very energetic and immediately established your credibility. I happen to be on the phone tomorrow with a former PM, albeit of Slovakia. Okay, and I'm connecting him to the former vice president of the European Parliament. So to the extent that ever becomes useful, not that I'm intimately connected, but I'm a super connector. So happy to stay at least on the periphery and be tapped into at the right time. One critique is involving government. It doesn't always mix well with capitalistic pursuits unless it's like dual use technology or something massive like that. Of course, it is nice that you have the ambition to become massive. And that's coupled with the fact that you're targeting in part retirees who don't always adopt things so easily and are less digitally competent. So it'd be wonderful to get a sense of what's like the viral component here? How is this really going to be well received among the populace? So thanks.
Thank you all. Next startup, please. Binod. Digifab AI, please.
Hello, this is Işıl Berkün. I am the founder of DigiFab AI. So just like Waymo automates driving, we are automating robotic manufacturing by reducing scrap, downtime, and late-stage defects. Next slide, please. Factories run 24/7, but quality control is stuck in the past. Currently, there is 28 billion waste due to undetected defects in the factory, cost billions across aerospace, automotive, and medical manufacturing. There's less than 5% of robotic adoption, and 70% of the QA is manual. I know because I've been there. I worked in a big factory for over a decade. Next slide, please. Robots need an autopilot, and DigiFab AI is here to add real-time adaptability, not just detection, but changing and controlling the defects via heat, vibration, and material changes. We use vision and thermal sensors to do that. Next slide, please. One use case is directed energy deposition, where we adjust the thermal variabilities. And next slide, please. Another use case is soft bioprinting, which is organoids, which is very critical in tissue-like biomaterials to do the QA. Now, next slide, please. How does it work? We have sensors and we have the DigiFab AI software embedded in there, and that's how we operate and change when there's a production. No rework, no waste, just right. Next slide, please. So what makes us different is we are scalable, modular, and hardware agnostic. Next slide, please. And we have a big TAM, sum. And next slide, please. You can think of us as an Autodesk and GitHub for industrial AI. And next slide, please. We have go-to-market strategy with phase 0, 1, and 2 for different industries. And next slide, please. These are competitors. And next slide, please. And the next, please. And we have a big team of ex-Intel employees, Portland State academicians in Stanford as an advisor. And next slide, please. And I am an ex-Intel employee. Now is a good time.
Judges, if we could ask you for your feedback and if you could try to keep it to 1 minute total if possible, or aim towards it.
Okay, I guess I'll start as we're rotating. Thank you for the presentation. There's a lot of information here. I know that you're speeding through it probably because you want to make the 2 minutes.
Yes.
And within that process, we lost a little bit of the content. So I think we understand what you're trying to do. I think I got a little bit lost in how your software interacts with the sensors to then provide the value add. And if you have this, if this product has already been tested with a factory or with any prototypes, I think that would be valuable. Or more specifically, and maybe plain languaging it, how these items are benefit, or how this software is benefiting, how the sensors detect defects and downtime and heat and vibration, and how this is all coming to the bottom line. Some of the other slides, like the go-to-market and the strategies and the timeline, those went by too quickly for me to really be able to look at it. It seems as if you've got this fairly dialed in, but I think the presentation needs a little bit of work, but generally for a first pitch, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Things just to briefly add, so different fab sizes, right? Different industries, you mentioned a couple. It's hard to go broad. You need to train AI for the defects, where you're going to get the libraries. I would assume it's going to be a high touch model initially, at least when you get in different, in the specific industries working to actually minimize the defect and make sure you have a good output. But it's a good problem to solve. You just need to tie things up, and then if you have any soft commitments with any of the fabs you're going to be working with, that's a good use case to showcase. And then later on talk about the financial model and so on. Thank you.
Thank you.
I found it overall very solid. And from a visual, okay, so at the first slide had a $, percentage symbol, and like less than, greater than. That just left the visual effect and made it seem comprehensive. Like this is a massive problem. Then you delved into organoids, a word I haven't heard of. So like mind blown. It does appear innovative. Manufacturing is a gigantic space, so there might be money to be made here. So my attention is captured. You also do seem reasonably credible from the technical side with a PhD, after all, and the architecture drawings, as well as not wasting time on SOM justification. You had nice comparables to GitHub. It's always a nice parallel to reference a thriving business and the team's robust. So all in all,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, judges. Vino, next startup, please. Vital OKR, please.
Once upon a me, chief of staff at a company, crafted a flawless product journey, but missed execution led to a gloomy destiny. New deal stalled, renewal shrunk, I lost my seat at the table and realized the expensive cost of missed execution. I lived that and I'm here to fix it. Next slide. By the way, that failure wasn't unique to me. Turns out only 10% of teams understand actual strategy. 70% of them feel siloed data blocks execution. And shockingly, less than a third of these companies use any kind of OKR software and tools. Next slide. Early persona feedback confirmed my hypothesis. No one's losing sleep over strategy. Teams are spending 50% of their time just in reporting, leaving lesser room for problem solving and even lesser room for driving execution. Next slide. So what if you had a system of record to hold these stakeholders accountable to their objectives and a system of report to auto dashboard the progress of these key results and KPIs all in one? Then you'd no longer be flying blind. That's what I'm building with Vital OKR, an AI tool to automate the whole OKR workflow and execution. Next slide. And the timing is right. The OKR SaaS market is set to hit $3 billion in the next few years, but most importantly, we'll no longer be tracking just human execution. With AI agents and machine identities in the mix, alignment is going to be that much more harder and execution more critical and complex. Next slide. The ask is to get introduced to CEOs of Series C to Series D startups where speed is everything, execution pain runs deepest, and resources are scarcest. Thank you.
Thank you, Pri. Judges, if we could get your feedback.
Sure, I'll start. Thank you for the presentation. Well done, good speed. I guess one of the things that I'm wondering about is when we talk about having an integrated tool to keep folks accountable and be able to spend time, and sort of it's inferred that more time will be spent on strategy and or strategic goals will translate into the planning and execution. I think that's something that if you can provide a bit more information on some sort of prototype, even sort of in some sort of gaming solution with people rather than prior to prototype, you might be able to provide that information. But overall, good presentation, and it's definitely an issue. My biggest curiosity is seeing how this will make strategy better, not only accountability. Thank you.
Yeah, there's an investor, John Doerr. You may have heard of him, Doerr, legend from Kleiner Perkins, I want to say, who invested in Google maybe and wrote a book on OKRs. So to get him on your cap table would be a dream. And I likewise wonder, speaking of books, I've read something about inflection points, primarily technological ones. There are ones regarding bureaucracy and sociological changes, but that's, as investors, our target. Like, how is technology impacting OKRs? So to get my head around that and understand, like, why is now the next wave to ride would be important. And I don't think, maybe I missed this, but I saw anything on the team. Thanks.
Yeah, there's a few slides later on, so I didn't get to it.
Okay, thank you. Just to add really briefly, you mentioned AI agents. That's a completely different world if you're going to go into it. It's more on how, and that's a big problem that a lot of companies, big companies, trying to solve. And in general, if you probably know it's a crowded space again. So if you're going in as you're doing your research and nailing down your target and persona, really see through the lens of if there's somebody who's already using some kind of software and doesn't work for them and why. Because there will be a demographic or you'll be customers who don't know they need to do it, and there's some that do use it, and for some it works and for someone doesn't. I would focus for folks that are already using it, it doesn't work. And then you see, okay, well, this is the gap they're filling in, because you don't want to go educate the market, because that's a different story of forcing someone to use a software that they don't think they need. But focusing on the gaps and see, okay, well, where are those gaps and where can you position yourself? Because there's a lot of, again, companies and providers for this.
Thank you. Vina, next startup, please. Bushido, please.
Hi, I'm Rita, a fan all my life and now the founder building the dream platform for fans everywhere. Today, there are 5.3 billion social media users and over 1 billion follow celebrities. But these fans aren't just watching, they're searching. In my interviews from teens to people in their 50s, I heard the same thing. Fans are constantly switching between platforms, trying to find updates, merchandise, community, or news, but still miss out. On average, they spend over 2.5 hours a day platform hopping with no single place designed for their experience. Next slide, please. Pishato brings it all together, a multi-sided platform where fans can access everything about their favorite celebrities all in one app. We're currently at the MVP stage. Next slide, please. Pishato consolidates content, as in centralized updates and exclusive drops, commerce, as in merchandise stores and paid membership, and community, as in fan clubs, polls, and shared moments with fans, in addition to direct messaging and other experiences with celebrities. Also, as a differentiator and to keep bringing the fans to the platform, even when the celebrities are not putting out fresh content, our standout feature is an AI assistant that pulls together clips and posts into personalized fan experiences. Say a fan wants to see the 5 latest goals by their favorite team scored, or an uplifting playlist from their favorite singer. Pishato compiles it by turning scattered content into custom highlights that fit their mood and moment. Next slide, please. The market is a $21 billion opportunity, even in just MENA and India as our first focus that are regions with huge fan cultures and rising digital spending. The market is $3.4 billion a year. Last slide, please. I, Rita, bring lived fan insight and a tech background, and my co-founder, Mo,
Rita, thank you so much. Judges, your feedback.
Leadership. Sure.
I can get started. Thank you for the presentations. Nice, flow, organized. It could be tightened up a little bit with your story, but I think we got the idea. Similar thing with the competition is, what are other platforms? Who's doing similar things, right? How are you going to stand out? Jumping in ahead of your monetization model, right? What the fans going to be paying, what the celebrities going to be paying, because you need to make money as well. Or maybe it's from some subscriptions or selling through your platform content or things like that. But the business side would be nice to explore sooner than later, because we see more of the product. This was sort of more like a product presentation. But nice to see also where you're at, your timeline, with the roadmap, what are you trying to do, where you at right now in general, if you already have it or if you're still working on it, validating and things like that. And then how are you going to get celebrities to use your platform? Why would they subscribe? Or maybe you'll pull the content, put it in on your platform and things like that. All right. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Again, great presentation. I think it's a very, very good concept. I don't know how many platforms there are out there. I don't know how much there is to learn from other organizations that do something similar, how broad or how narrow the reach is, either by the type of sport or the region in which they play or the type of services and products they offer. The one thing I will focus on here, and I don't know how it is locally in MENA, but there's legal implications of content. How do you use content that might be coming from someone else, from somewhere else? Do you have the agreements? Bringing on a celebrity, they usually have contracts and they're managed, and their content goes on certain channels. So there's a lot of legalese and legal stuff in here about content interaction with people, unless it's more of a TikTok or an Instagram type situation where. But I think more and more that content, because it's valuable and because that brings users and that monetizes through ad revenue, more and more so that's going to become, there are going to be legal firewalls to that. Just a thought. You may want to think about how to entertain that. Thank you.
Yeah, from my end, I'm not well versed on social. One thing I might opine on is, in general, I think Mark Andreessen said, fundamentally, a lot of innovation is bundling and unbundling. I don't know if that applies to social as well. I might be inclined to thinking that creating something brand new or identifying a niche in the market would be more appealing to the end user, rather than having something kind of diluted in a mix of the existing offerings. Not to be overly critical though, who knows? As far as UI, I mean, UX has to be flawless, API access as well. I don't know if you'd be rate limited or if it might be hard to have access to restricted APIs from TikTok or Insta. So that's all I can add there, but I encourage you.
Thank you, judges. Vina, next startup, please. Good Loop, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Cher, founder of Good Loop. Next slide, please. As a mom of 2 girls, MBA student, 3 p.m. has become my daily stress moment. Always wondering, who can help me pick up my girls today? It's broken my heart that I had to stop my girls from playing soccer and dancing simply because I couldn't manage the transportations. Next slide, please. I'm not alone. 90% families report the difficulty to balance care with work. It's incredibly difficult for working parents to leave work for school pickup between 2 to 3 p.m. It's even harder to ride kids for after-school programs. Meanwhile, the stay-at-home parents who are ready to help often give up due to lack of convenient tools to connect families in need. Next slide, please. Good Loop solves this problem by building a trusted, community-powered care network. Our platform makes it simple for parents to build their reliable village by inviting their trusted networks like school parents, neighbors, friends into their family-centered private circle. With this trusted circle, parents can directly request and provide services like ride-sharing childcare. After 3 positive reviews, families' trust circle is banned to friends of friends, organically growing to a supportive network. Next slide, please. Our primary audience includes stay-at-home parents and working parents who live in suburban and urban areas across the states. Initially, we focused on the Bay Area parents, covering 320,000 families with children, targeting 27 million business opportunity. Next slide, please. With your help, we can build
Thank you so much. I'll have to stop you here.
Thank you.
Judges, your feedback, please.
Thank you. I can go first. Thank you so for the presentation. A nice flow, graphics, very well organized. Good. I'm in the Bay Area, parents with 3 kids, so I know the challenges of picking up, dropping off, and coordinating with nannies and activities. So the problem is there more of a, okay, well, what are the services and alternatives, right? Let's say I have shuttles. I have from school that organize shuttles or nannies that come pick it up, drop off. The alternatives to the services. So if you position yourself, you're going to do something. Well, what market are you going into? Who's providing adding additional products and services for the ride sharing or pickup, drop off their services as well. And more of, well, if you're creating a broader network of parents, again, the security, trust, all of those things come up again. So how are you going to stay ahead of it, right? Are you going to do, if somebody's picking up your kids and they're driving in the car, are you going to do the like checking their driver's license and the records, and then see if there are any past offenders or anything like that, right? So just a little bit more on that security. And then where you at, again, the stage of your development, have you validated, do you have interested trials, customers, somebody who signs up, and what would be the model for it, right? Like if it's a community, is it going to be a membership paid community and everyone picks up with their kids whatever they want, or there's a per one-time transaction? If somebody's going to do something, then you're going to pay. But interesting, there's something there, but it needs to be developed because it's complex, and every time you're dealing with kids, it's complex. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll jump in. Thank you for the presentation. I think Alina has a lot to say about that one, so we'll leave her there with 3 kids. Very brave of her. The only thing I would say is that you have sort of these stay-at-home parents and busy working parents. I think that both of them are struggling, rightfully so, to be able to coordinate. And I don't know if the networking, maybe this is sort of inferred rather than directly understood. I think there will be networks and there will be services that will be acquired as a group of people who live geographically close to each other, where their kids play a specific sport together or something like this, so that these things can be achieved. It's sort of on it's on a larger scale, but it gets serviced locally. Just from what I've seen, and I think, Alina, we've seen some presentations like this in the past. We know this problem exists. It's not simple, and it's going to take some money. My future vision of this is something like, if you guys saw that Tesla bus at some point when they presented, when autonomous driving becomes the thing and everybody trusts it, the bus is just going to go around and pick up people randomly and take them where they need to go. That's probably the solution in X number of years, but for now, I don't know. But good presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a relatable pain point. I wonder if it's painful enough to pull in users. If word of mouth reputation grows, it could become sticky as you offer services like ride sharing, babysitting. Given your target market, word of mouth is a viable route, but it's hard to scale given it's hyper local. That combined with the fact that you need to throw tons of cash on a problem like this, and there's no guarantee of it being inherently viral as a business. I do also wonder about monetization. Is it freemium? I mean, how do you capture that? And do you understand really well metrics like eventually daily and weekly users? So yeah, a lot to unravel here. Exciting.
Thank you for the feedback. Vina, next startup, please.
Thank you.
Knowledge-driven operations, the stage is yours.
To scale your robotaxi production from 1 car to 240 a day, a missing brake sensor, microchip, or valve can stop hundreds of cars daily, costing 100 to 500K. Our AI-powered knowledge-driven platform prevents part shortages, syncs teams, automates solutions, and boosts production by 25%. It catches major issues under 10 minutes, ensures 85% uptime, and saves 1 to 4 million yearly. Next slide, please. A part shortage occurs when a key component like a brake sensor, microchip, or a valve is unavailable, halting the robotaxi assembly line. For a company like Zoox, aiming to scale from 1 car per day to 240, this can stall thousands of robotaxis, disrupting high volume production and causing major delays and financial losses. Next slide, please. Part shortage current is a $500 billion to a $1 trillion market. COVID caused $150 billion losses in US auto, 1.5 million fewer cars were sold. Tariffs have caused US part supplies to be down by 43%. Next slide, please. Our platform syncs factory data in real time, cutting analysis time by 80%. AI agents detect major issues in under 10 minutes, resolving them 90% faster than compared to other methods. By connecting inventory, supply chain, and production, we reduce cost by 30%, increase response by 50%, and save $1 to $4 million annually with 90% uptime. We predict, prevent, and act autonomously. Next slide, please. Our team has built 3 platforms ground up, 2 in one of the largest aerospace manufacturing and 1 in the largest commercial lender in the world. We have combined 100 years of platform delivery, software, and data engineering experience, including Palantir Foundry. Next slide, please. With features like self-learning and healing and up to 500% less cost than our competitors who use our platform, we are positioned to enter the $500 billion to $1 trillion emerging part shortage market. Major issue detection will be done in less than 10 minutes. We'll mitigate disruption and reduce cost by 30%. And the robotaxi example is of scaling. Our business model is going to start with a SaaS and evolve to charge based on value delivered through cost savings and delivery acceleration. Thank you.
Thank you, Harpreet. Judges, please.
I can jump in there. I think the concept is great, especially when you're talking about automated driving. The part shortages are visible with some of the key manufacturers now. They're having their own parts issues. I don't know if that's more supply or supply chain or planning or raw material, rare earth mineral shortages and things like this. But there's a part to play with software that does vertically integrate all these parts and pieces to make sure that there's the maximum amount of uptime, whether it be in automotive or other. I think there were some charts there and they went by quickly as I was thinking through this. Are you looking to vertically connect the supply and demand from in different industries, or are you going to start in one industry? I wasn't quite clear on that piece. And I know there was some more information after that, but I think that proving it in one particular industry, you can probably replicate. And if you've already done this, you said you already have built this for in prior instances. I think you had a demo on the first page and I didn't catch it. So I think if you could possibly allow us to see that demo, it would help us to understand. Thank you.
Hi, just to jump in a little bit, and I have to jump off at the end of the hour. Great. I've been working a little bit in supply chain sector, and it's a great problem to solve, a complex problem to solve as well. So it probably requires some resources. Good to know again on where you at right now. What do you need to get to the next level? And do you have any potential partners that you'll work with? Let's say Gartner, or maybe someone who will be in the supply chain industry specifically, right? Because it will be good for you to go into and partner with someone who potentially even acquire you as an early exit if you'd like. But great problem to solve. Some complexities on how and integration the software with existing systems. Thank you.
Yeah, so you're super early, but obviously at some juncture having a strong signal like a known OEM would, yeah, that I'm wondering how you get there, and the sales cycles are long. And I agree with Stephen that you do need to establish a wedge. What you have working in your favor is it does appear to be a very acute and expensive problem. I didn't catch exactly how much SCM experience your team has, but I gathered that you're pretty confident in that. And overall, it sounds like this knowledge graph approach and real-time inventory replacement is a major upgrade to a static ERP. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, judges. Next startup, please. Praxis Texas.
Hi, everyone. I want to introduce you to Bob. Bob just graduated out of college and is looking for a job. Next slide. Bob just found a new job and is moving states for his new work. Next slide. Bob moved states for a new job. He met Susie and they're planning to get married. Next slide. Hold on. Bob and Susie got married. They have a baby coming up and they're planning to buy a house. Imagine the complications Bob is going to face when it comes to his taxes. Next slide. As per a recent survey by Edelman Financial Engines, 52% of Americans feel that they haven't been able to plan taxes like they should have. This impacts utilizations of credits such as earned income, American Opportunity, and child tax credit. Many people don't know that they can leverage debt, such as medical debt, as a deduction to reduce their taxable income and hence reduce their taxes. Next slide. Which is why tax season makes a lot of people anxious. Next slide. Existing solutions are cumbersome and expensive. You either do it yourself, which means trying to understand a lot of the terms and definitions on your own. You have to know about the different credits and deductions that you can leverage based on your life situation. Another way is to hire someone, which can be expensive. And also, can you trust them? Do they know everything about your situation that can be used? The third option you now have is Praxis Taxes. Next slide. Praxis is your AI-powered tax coach. We are an app that you can use throughout the year to plan your tax strategy. We recommend customized strategies based on your life stage and share multiple options for you to choose and act upon. This makes it easy for you to forecast your refunds or your tax debt. We ensure that you can optimize your tax strategy, minimize your tax burden, and generate wealth for yourself and your family. We're currently in the prototyping stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi. Judges, if we could get your feedback.
Yes, great presentation. I think it's definitely an area of work that definitely we lose a lot of sleep with this stuff, especially for those of us who have had businesses, investments, family deductions, and our work independently. And there's also other areas that are sort of in not well understood by a lot of tax management, like crypto and other types of investments. But I'll kind of leave it at that. I think it's important that this tool does the tool take over, or does it just give you advice on what you should do? Because I would probably still go with a licensed and reputable accountant that could possibly use this tool to gain further insights to help overall the solution for my needs. Just wondering if you for the next presentation maybe talk a little bit about that piece as well. But I think it's definitely there, and you may want to think about which markets you're following up on. If it's going to be all people in businesses, people who are looking at retirement planning, which is another area which people don't prepare as much as they need to, or even investment analysis for that matter. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, of course, strong critique / encouragement, constructive criticism to lean into you and your team slide, what this business is about. We can kind of grasp, I'm sure, of course, we can all relate to taxes. So you can skip by a lot of that and put yourself right up front. Own that. Yeah. And I agree with Stephen, the consumer type or whoever your customer is critical. I'm wondering, I've seen this play out in other countries. People who don't earn a whole lot might be keen to save a buck and adopt this. At the same time, if you're interested in appealing to a broader base, then that subset might not be as attracted to this being a tax and planning coach that's comprehensive, right? So there is that burden on you to educate somehow. Maybe it is better to go through corporate somehow and have a partnership with them. As far as a team background, having AI ML would be useful. That's what and also it's not year round. So how do you continue monetizing?
Thank you for the feedback. We have about 6 more startups, so please excuse us for running beyond the planned time. If you could move on to the next startup. Zathia, please.
Hi, I'm Rebecca and I'm the founder of Zathia. Next slide. Next slide. Let me tell you about Maria. She's a gifted, multidisciplinary artist. She's spinning plates, commissions, invoices, self-promotions, burnout, and she's all in on the craft. But like so many creators, she was never taught how to run a business. And she's far from alone. This is the daily reality from millions of artists. They're brilliant, They're underpaid, overstretched, and unsure of how to build something sustainable. I've lived this. I've worked a decade in tech, but I've been growing my own creative practice and watching this space evolve, seeing the lack of infrastructure to truly support artists running their business. So I'm building what I wish existed, a tool that helps creatives become self-sustaining, confident, and strategically independent. We've run deep dive interviews with artists across the board, with filmmakers, musicians, illustrators, designers, and the pain points are loud and clear. Artists and creatives struggle with unstable income work and have limited access to business support, which will lead to burnout and isolation. Maria is everyone and she needs help. Next slide. In the UK, 1.15 million creative freelancers drive a 40 billion plus market, and across Europe, over 5 million freelance creators form a 140 billion TAM. So we're zeroing in on the first three largest segments, which are visual artists and designers, performers and musicians, and medium creators. So that gives us a 20 billion SAM with a 500 million SOM starting in the UK with EU early adopters. Next slide. Zathia is a modular toolkit. It aims to offer a one-stop suite of educational tools, business and consulting, collaborating with AI, and community access, connecting users to collaborate. Next slide. The artist and creative freelance economy is growing fast, but support is patchy and outdated. We're tackling a real problem, the focused solution, and a huge underserved market. We're early, we're idea stage, but we're building for the people shaping the next era of creativity, so they can not just be the artists, but the architects of their career. Next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Judges, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll take a quick stab at this. Yeah, great presentation, great tone of voice as you confidently go about your business here. I like the fact that you, unlike several others in this group, confidently state up front that you've worked 10 years in tech. Like you got to own whatever it is you're presenting for sure. I fear that creatives might be allergic to a tool unless it itself is visually appealing. And there's also a price-sensitive element to the consumer here. And they might be switching jobs from time to time. So it could be hard to hold on to them. I've looked at businesses like this in the past, and the consensus seems to be that case, but prove us wrong. What do we know?
Great presentation. Thank you. A number of years ago, one of my first startups was within the arts community, so I do appreciate this. I think that there's some time for adoption of a tool like this, and I would ask you, within your target market, would you prefer one group, or starting with one group versus another, just to be able to get your prototype out, kick the tires, make it useful, make sure you get the interactivity, and then be able to scale it out to others? I think something in that for an expansion plan might be valuable. The one that you're closest to is probably the best one, or the one that you believe you can more easily structure into your tool. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next startup, please. Cyberfinder, please go ahead.
It was 2 a.m. in Brussels in a war crisis room. We were racing to stop a cyber attack on a national grid. We succeeded, but I left this room shaken by a deeper issue. Every defender within this room has trained on different standards, fragmented, inconsistent, inefficient. That's the real vulnerability that I want to fix. That's why I built CyberFind. I am Mohammed Tabit, a founder of CyberFind with 20 years experience in this specific domain, cybersecurity. I advised EU leaders, shaping cyber strategies and managing a portfolio of plus 300 million digital portfolio. And I've seen some broken cybersecurity training procurements. And this is why I would like to fix it in a unified marketplace that compare vetted providers. So cybersecurity leaders, IT leaders can buy smarter, train faster and better. And that's why I'm proposing this service. Next slide, please. What I will do next slide. I spent time in understanding the problem in cybersecurity. There are 4 main problems backed by data. The market saturation, many service providers were marketing fluff and bluff. This, I cannot fix it. That's fact. The second is the information overload, a lot of marketing stuff there. This, I will not fix it. But there are 2 main problems that I would like to fix, is the opaque evaluation criteria of providers. That can be easily fixed with the lost cost of CapEx. And the second is the integration challenge. Sometimes the cybersecurity advisors and leaders discover the problem of integrations once they sign the contract. And that's an issue that I would like to fix. Next slide. Donc, I prototype a solution that is working now. I onboarded already 63 vendors in this platform, where in a single platform, you can see how can you fetch the information. Next slide. On the left side, there are some core requirements, which means that you can search by industry, by the number of staff to train.
Thank you, Mohammed. We have to stop here.
And then you have some options and recommendations.
Yeah, I guess I'll step in. I don't know GovTech, but this seems pretty compelling, partly, definitely, due to your credentials and understanding of the space. I doubt it's easy, so I don't want to discount how difficult it is. I also don't have a great sense of how scalable. I mean, is this going to be more of a consultancy, as it were, or like a $30, $50 million exit max, or something much larger, as I draw the parallel to AI recruiting startups like AmeriCorps and others that have taken off pretty explosively. So it seems innovative, actually, as we look for more transparency within government. And this seems like a discrete problem to tackle in that sector. So, and I know a couple of folks who would know a lot more. I was actually flown out to the Palace of Parliament in Bucharest to speak alongside a presidential candidate and all that. So as mentioned, like I do have some EU, I'm sure you do as well, but happy to connect and try and be resourceful there.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Great presentation. Yeah, you come with the credentials to tackle this problem. It seems the training programs are essential. Some of my advisory work was next to folks at NIST and cybersecurity across U.S. government, CFO Act agencies, and there's a lot to understand, regardless of whether you're a cybersecurity expert or not. And I think that some of the integration problems, they go beyond cyber. This is a technology problem. This has been there. A lot of my experience in custom software and cloud work and whatnot. And I'm not technical, but I keep seeing these problems come up, and there's usually a flaw in how things get planned. So I think that you're onto something here. I'd like to hear a little bit more about the prototype you put together, what the vendors have said, what kind of feedback they've given you, and what sort of interest has there been in using your platform by potential either testers or if you have any contracts in hand that are willing to try, or folks or entities that are willing to try your solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Next startup, please. ADITI, please go ahead.
Hey, Aditi stands for Autism Detection, Intelligence, and Training Interface. Next slide, please.
Aditi isn't just a product, it's a personal passion. It began in 2021 as a final year project in undergrad, where we noticed there are no tools that truly supported children with autism beyond detection. The lack of competition wasn't an opportunity, it was a gap we deeply felt compelled to fill. Next.
Next slide.
We spoke to over 10 parents of children with autism. Every single one of them told us their child responds better to a familiar voice. 9 out of 10 said they urgently need help with daily routines and improving attention span. Most of them expressed the need for a solution that works even when they're not physically present. And despite not currently using AI, nearly all of them welcome the prospect of personalized support. Next slide. I think we went one slide beyond, like you have to go back. Yeah, the next one. We introduce you to Aditi, an AI companion built with care. It starts with a CDC-regulated detection module to identify where the child falls on the autism spectrum. Based on the detected spectrum, personalized support is offered through a familiar voice captured in a short 30-second recording. That voice is then transformed using AI into a warm, human-like agent that supports the child through both daily activities and curriculum-based learning. Next slide.
We have identified a huge opportunity in providing training support for children with autism, a space largely overlooked by many competitors or not available. Our unique approach focuses on personalized voice, which is an unmet demand, presents a high revenue potential, both US and international. Our market strategy is 3 different phases: phase 0, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 0 is more on supporting parents with autistic children. Phase 2, tactical approach on engaging with schools with special care. Third is strategic focus, partnering with healthcare service and doctors. We plan to launch it in Q3 25 in USA and globally in 26 Q2. Next slide, please. We give a big shout out to Andre and Nick, our continued support, our moderators and DT strategy.
Thank you, team. We give an extra 10 seconds for the last time to make it fair. Thank you very much. Judges, if you could jump in.
I can jump into this one. Thank you. Very good presentation. Definitely a concern of many. Definitely a very important topic. I would say that I think the idea of having personalized voice, I think it's a very smart use of the language model and personalizing voice for support tasks within the application. I like the idea that you're starting with parents and schools as special care that provide special care, and then later on with healthcare services and whatnot. And so it's a good track there. What I would ask about is, what is the content? Is this proprietary content that you're preparing? Are you using other content that's already in the market, but just sort of putting a spin on it where the AI will have a more familiar way of delivering and responding to questions? What is your special sauce in the mix? And I'm assuming you have something already completed and done if you're going to launch Q3 of 2025. If you have any prototype to show or something that you've put together, given the folks, the 10 parents that you've spoken to and how you're addressing those, I think that would give it a little bit more tangibility for the assessments and for any judge or any investor to review. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, we do a prototype. Thanks.
Very good.
Okay, yeah. So legitimacy, pardon, did I interrupt?
No, not at all. I just said thank you, Steve.
Okay, yeah. So you've got the legitimacy via the master's degree, and perhaps your experience don't quite know, but born out of personal research, it's likely a huge opportunity, in albeit emotionally charged space with the burden of clinical proof. So you have to marry, on one hand, getting buy-in from experts and early users with without having it feel too clinical, and it'd probably be difficult to pinpoint what exactly the business model is, because there are so many possibilities and you could go wrong, and well, that's scary. That is it B2B, is it B2C, B2G, and then the public versus private payer systems is another hairy problem to untangle, but it seems like there's some underlying substance here. So I encourage.
Thank you for the feedback. If we could move on. Lumina, please.
Hi, I'm Glenn from Lumina Impact. Billions of dollars in philanthropic giving move across Asia each year, but are we truly making a difference? Next. There are deep challenges in the philanthropic ecosystem, and there are 3 on the right that we are tackling. Funders are facing challenges in misinformed and misguided giving. They are looking for better information about the charity landscape and greater accountability from charities. Yet many are still giving based on connections and past giving habits. Some even fall prey to unethical marketing messages. On the flip side, charities are facing challenges in ineffective fundraising, primarily because they find it hard to do impact measurement and communicate their impact. Next. At Lumina, we solve these problems and we build a stronger ecosystem through our technology platform in 3 ways. 1, charity discoverability. We provide unique insights about charities to funders so that within 5 seconds, funders will be able to understand whether they want to give to a charity or not. 2, we co-create and standardize impact metrics with partners in the ecosystem so that everyone can speak the same language. And lastly, we work with charities to do independent validation and reporting of impact so that they are more credible with funders. With that, we are empowering funders and charities to do what they do best. Next. Our pilot market is Singapore at $3.5 billion, and we chose this for 3 reasons. It is home to us, it's a trusted market, and it's positioning itself as the philanthropic hub to Asia. Our aim is to target the much larger Asian market at more than $700 billion. Next. My co-founders and I have deep expertise in data, technology, and the charity sector, and we are seeking pilot opportunities to test our platform and form deeper connections to philanthropic partners. Next. Lastly, we are deeply grateful to our advisors and our talented interns who have got us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Very good timing. Judges, please.
I can jump in there. Thank you for the presentation. Very, very clean and clear. Yeah, charity landscape, especially when in some of the macro shifts and globally in terms of priorities, makes this more and more challenging. Now, I do have a question here. You do provide metrics. Well, let me start with the charity discoverability. It would be important to focus on what makes a charity discoverable, the fact that it exists or the fact that it has a track record of accountability or of some sort of scoring mechanism for these charities so that you bring in you lower a risk element for the types of charities that you're presenting. The second thing is now you provide hopefully a standardization of metrics across for the funding and implementation across charities. Now, do you just provide the metrics, or do you also provide some level of follow-on and accountability as a third party to make sure that folks stay on track, or does the system do this automatically through automated tools? Let me see. I think those were the 2 major questions that I had, and of course, if you had a specific area that you would focus on, where you are in your project, have you already started? Do you have a prototype? Have you spoken to charities already? Are you working with any? Do you have any feedback from your networks in terms of speaking to them? You can see you have a fairly big, you have team interns and whatnot. So hopefully you have some conversations with folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So it's a simple enough all-in-one platform. I mean that positively, and that it's a nice core offering, solid team. Question might be, can you change behavior? Donors do give emotionally. I'm also wondering about the why now element. It would be great to have a team with a data infra and marketplace background. Maybe start by serving major donors or DAFs. So any existing connectivity there would help. Charities have tight budgets, so you charge for deeper insights, reports, tax receipts, and yeah, like to overcome friction from the charity side would be critical as well. I wonder about monetization.
Thank you very much. Vinod, if you could move on. Heika, please. Jasmine, are you there? Then to the next startup, please.
I was there in image.
Okay, please, the stage is yours, Heika.
Okay. So let's rephrase that. Good morning. I'm Jasmine Legault, and I'm here because I'm building a platform to help humans reset, reconnect, and lead from within. So Heka is not an app. It's really a lived experience using sensorial tools, daily practices, soft tech, and events. Next. Meet David, creative, successful, respected. But inside, he's scattered, numb, and quietly burning out. This cost him about 20 grand a year in coaching, self-care, apps, and supplements. This is more than a personal crisis. It's a systemic breakdown. Our nervous systems are overloaded. Our focus is fractured. Emotions are shut down, and meaning is fading. Next. I ran a survey with high achievers here in Montreal. 8 out of 10 said that they suffered from being mentally fragmented every single day. These are proactive people who spend thousands a year to feel okay, but yet they still feel off track. So they don't need more information. What they need is a felt change in their body, in their breath, in their clarity. Next. Why it matters? Because David, like millions of others, isn't just stressed out or exhausted. He's terrified. He's terrified that the growing disconnection that he feels could break everything else: his health, his family, and his work. When the nervous system stays in overdrive, disconnection becomes dysfunction. Now, why now? Because we've normalized depletion. Wired, tired, and emotionally flat is now our baseline. And most solutions, well, they soothe, they distract, but they don't rewire. And truth is, you can't hack your nervous system regulation. It requires embodiment and a space to exhale. Meanwhile, the demand is exploding and only accelerating because performance without presence means nothing. This is not a trend. This is the early signal of a deeper shift. If you feel it too, let's connect.
Thank you, Jasmine. Very good timing. Judges, please.
Sure. Thank you for the presentation. I think this describes me partially as well. I may be coming to you for services. Yeah, I think it's part of the times that we live in. Information comes from so many different places and spaces. The neuroscience aspect of this, the research is showing how the brain is being used in different ways, given how people receive information these days from so many different channels. And yes, I think that there's a need to balance and baseline things with more qualitative solutions. So I think you're definitely here. You have something. I didn't see a lot of information with regards to how you would tackle these concerns, and I think that would be nice to see if you're going to use more offline type services or online. Will you leverage intelligence? I'm not going to say information because you did say there was too much information, which is there's definitely a point there. So I think this is really something about wellness, right? Which is very important. So I like it where it's going. There's a little bit of work to build out the business model, the timeline, the funds needed down the line. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, constructive criticism. Jasmine, great that you presented something and that you have the ambition, the energy to go forth in this. It is a problem that I think a lot of people can relate to. So there's something, you can make money if you solve a problem there. The question is, what's the solution? We all resonate with the problem. So we don't need 30 plus seconds. Like you lost the opportunity, frankly, to delve into, to appeal to an investor because we didn't hear anything about the product. I mean, you know this, but you might need to hear it. The team, go to market, essentially most elements of any pitch, really. Right. So, and that can maybe, I don't know, I empathize. Founders have enough struggles. You're putting out 100 fires. Maybe this is just like you've just formed, it's at inception. But get as many shots on goal as possible. Don't hold back. I encourage you to have ample self-confidence and make a ton of mistakes. It's better done than perfect, and better good the first time than perfect the 10th. So keep pressing forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Next startup, please. Wall clock will go last. Now, Yuma Wellness, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is Angie, and I'd like to share my vision of transforming women's wellness for billions globally. Next. Hormonal health and exercise are closely linked for women, and gentle movement is a powerful way to connect to the body to help regulate the endocrine and nervous systems. A current issue in the fitness industry is women today are craving their own safe spaces designed for them, with the menstrual cycle and pelvic floor in mind. Next. These are some insights that stood out during user research, from girls suffering from PCOS to birth control being prescribed like candy, without being aware of the potential long-term repercussions to their hormones and menstrual cycle. Next. Here's what we found. Women turn to movement and gentle, mindful routines to help regulate emotions. Back one slide. And go from living in their head to living from their heart. There's something very special about women connecting with each other, supporting each other to have faith and connect to their hearts and their purpose. So our solution targets the luxury wellness market with holistic well-being and hormone-healthy movement. We have a digital product with a library of Pilates content and a myofascial ball to release tension and fascia for deep stress management and recovery. Next. These are our 3 pillars. I think you're skipping a slide. Anyways, these are our 3 pillars: strength, heart, and soften. They're all equally important in our mission to support women's wellness. My story is from growing up in the heart of Palo Alto to leading women's health experiences at Apple. I'm now going all in on building Ayuma to be a billion-dollar empire for wellness-minded girlies across the globe. And our impact is we're committing to giving back as we scale from the very beginning. Next slide. The long-term vision includes a global community connected by a digital platform, starting with validating our MVP, building our pilot products, and scaling our community. Join us on our mission to support women's wellness for girls around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good timing. Judges, please.
I can jump in there. Very good presentation. Thank you very much. Very easy to understand, good flow, and well positioned. Not too much information and not too little. I think that there will be some questions about. I would ask would be, how is this product different from products that are, especially because you're in this market and you've worked in corporate, how is this product unique or different or special or competitive to other products out there? Pilates is out there, wholeness, wellness is somewhat out there, or at least it's fractured, and the community piece is growing. I think if you could tell us a little bit more about how you combine things together on the platform, whether it's online mostly and offline, maybe think a little bit more about the product. And also the target market, is it all women? Is it a certain group? Is it corporate? Is it young women? So I think it might be easier to narrow it down. I would defer that to you because this is what you do, cores in your business. But if you explain that, then I think that would take it a long way for us to understand it better. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like it without having invested in a business like this or covered it much, but great technical team background with the personal touch to Pilates. You're not shy. You declared your desire to build a billion-dollar empire. Also, the upfront tagline was descriptive and clear. You also had a sense of calm command as you presented. Women are overlooked and have spending power. Seems like you've got a solid business sense to take this on holistically. Of course, it is complicated when you're tacking hardware onto software. I don't know how the product looks and what distribution would entail. There is a potential B2B track. So there are dollar signs involved somehow. And it is at like an interesting intersection of targeting a diverse audience despite it being targeted. right? So you could appeal to a really broad base if you can pull it off on the marketing side eventually. But I don't know. Overall, it seems pretty intriguing. I haven't heard much about this fascial tissue, so maybe that's innovative. So cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. 2 more startups to go. Vinod, if you could move on. Design a trade, please.
Okay. Local art, global reach, community growth. This is Dasana. Next. Connecting fine art artisans with art appreciators is our mission. Many artisans depend on daily local sales and are reluctant to venture into online or global commerce due to perceived complexities. Meanwhile, art appreciators are actively seeking convenient and easy access to authentic art that's often hard to find. Next. Our fine art is a high-value product primarily appealing to individuals of Latin heritage. We target those aged 30 to 60 years, a demographic with financial capacity to invest in art. Within 20% of the US population being Latino and 40% of this group falling within our target age, we have identified a substantial potential market of 26 million people. Next. We establish commercial entities in each country. Dasana Mexico directly partners with artisans, managing product sourcing and all international shipping complexities. Products then flow to Dasana US, which cultivates strong relationships with our final customers through online platforms and direct partnerships with companies. This is how we simplify complexity and offer convenient access for our appreciators. Our Arte program is a unique profit-sharing incentive for artisans, ensuring they benefit from the beauty of their art. Next, meet the team. With over 3 decades of supply chain expertise, we streamline logistics to ensure the convenience expected by the art appreciators while upholding fair practices through the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 30 seconds left. Judges, please.
I'll jump in there. Great presentation. I like the logo. It's very, very nice. It's very catchy. I like this idea of connecting the artisans to the appreciators. I'd like to know a little bit more about your target market. Why you mentioned Latin heritage? That's a lot of people. Would it be regional in terms of where they come from? You know, what has given you the idea that targeting this whole group initially is the right move? I also saw that supply chain graph does help a lot to understand how your supply chain distribution would theoretically work. Is any of this already working? Do you have any prototypes? Do you have anything going on? You both have very good experience to be able to pull this off. I just want to see where are you in this process, and are you already functional even if you're not online? I don't know if you have an online well, there is an online piece, but are you currently operating, and maybe give us a little bit more about the business, where it is now and where you're headed with the business. Thank you. In terms of timelines and dollars for the next few pitches.
Okay, is she going to answer now?
We won't have time for questions, so go ahead, please, Shane.
Got it. So art can be inaccessible or online and in the physical sense ultimately. I wonder, however, about repeat buying behavior. Also, to Stephen's point, who is the target market? And to go one layer deeper, why Latinx? That does offer differentiation as far as Etsy, versus you. Does it appeal to VCs? I wonder if it's the classic unicorn case, but there could be a nice margin as far as the marketplace commission. However, what about verifying for authenticity and shipping something that is like highly sensitive and very easily damageable? So it's tough.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, wall clock. Vinod, if you could let me share my screen. Wall clock, are you there?
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi, this is team wallclock.ai. We our two people team with a large supporting team. I am Akhilesh. I worked in software for 20 years, 15 of them in Google. My co-founder heads a hardware lab at Atomic Research Center, Bombay. We are here to build the AI era timekeepers. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we looked around, we found a problem. The time tech basically is the wall clocks that are stuck on your walls. Look at them. They are stuck on every single wall in the world, but they are very ancient tech. If you look around in the home, there are many sensors, fire sensors, smoke sensors, this sensor, that sensor on your stuck on the walls in your home. You look around, there are so many devices which are putting out glaring information, and you are hammered with information overload. All this tech, by the way, is script driven and not context. It's totally context blind technology. Next slide, please. So we went to solve this problem. We are trying to build the AI era devices here with integrated sensors. We want to have non-intrusive contact with gesture controls and stuff, personalized and contextual to each person in the household or the workplace. We most importantly, we want it affordable, sub $25 devices. Next slide, please. So this is where we are. This is our working prototype. Instead of talking, let me just explain to you this thing. It looks like a normal clock, but it has gestures. We have developed an audio visual language for this. There are sensors. There are at least 8 sensors in this. We have successfully been updating online OTA updates on this. We have developed SDK and primitive apps around on this device. It supports personalization, edge AI with dedicated hardware in it, and we have hired an arts graduate to design
I'll have to stop you
these things
here. Thank you very
for
much.
homes.
Judges, if you could jump in with feedback.
Okay. Great presentation. Interesting take on a timekeeper, giving it all these functionalities in a home and keeping this under a cost point of $25. I think it would be valuable to see a little bit more how the demo product works and why people would want to use this and how it works for multiple people in a home. I think you're onto something here. I thought it was going to go down more the IoT track, but maybe it's integrated also. I think it's a great start, and we'd like to see a little bit more about the product. We know that you have the background in these things, in these subject matters to probably pull it off. Some idea of where you are, where you're going, when this prototype will be visible, testable, whatnot, and the timeline moving forwards, and then at some point the dollars. And thank you very much.
So I don't use clocks anymore. I've got my phone here. I therefore am inclined to believe that if you could, well, either re-educate the consumer as to why it'd be necessary, or create something altogether different that's positioned as helping mental energy or focus blocks, maybe has ambient music, software integrations, albeit I'm not sure which. If it, in essence, were a ritual enhancing device, maybe it has a shot. I'm a little lost, I admit. So cool.
Thank you all very much for coming in. Excuse us for going over by 46 minutes. Thank you to all judges for taking the time and for the fantastic feedback. Thank you to the founders for putting in so much work into preparing this. And thank you to the executive team members for supporting us on that. So this will conclude our meeting. We're looking forward to seeing all at the next one. And yeah, have a great day.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I really appreciate all your time and effort. Thanks very much.
For sure, group. Thanks, Victor. Cheerio.
Good job, Victor.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Same to you.
Oh, Deepti's on the line. Hi, Deepti.